All right, everyone. We are here today with Coach Justin Roth, the assistant golf coach for the University of Findlay men's and women's team. We are here today just kind of talk about what he likes to see from recruits and his transition and his experience from high school to college and now as an assistant coach for the golf program. So we're just going to dive right in and get his take on everything. So, Coach, what really gets you interested in a recruit?
Well, thanks, Parker. The first thing that really jumps off the page is their scores. At the end of the day, it's not always the most important thing, just the golf scores. When I'm looking at the rankings and I see a kid's name and they have pretty good scores, that's definitely a path that I might want to go down. Obviously, low scores means that they're a pretty good player. So that's definitely probably the first thing that jumps off the page with me when I look at recruits is what are they shooting?
Yeah, okay. What are some of the things that you would like to see more from recruits instead of whatever they are doing right now?
Well, it kind of goes hand in hand with my first answer there. Like I said before, scores aren't everything. I think some people kind of get a little too hung up on the scores, what they're shooting. And it's a good thing if you're shooting good scores, but at the end of the day, are you going to be a good fit for our program? And how do you handle yourself on and off the golf course? That's the stuff that really, really matters. And I really wish that a lot of recruits and even their parents would kind of put a little bit more stock into that when they're going through the recruiting process.
Yeah.
And on top of that, too, just having these recruits make themselves more available. It's pretty hard for me when I'm going through the rankings and I see a kid who I might be really interested in talking to, and I can't find any contact information for them anywhere. That kid's pretty much a ghost to me at that point. So I'd like to see more kids maybe make a recruiting page or a recruiting website. Put your email address, phone number on there, and just make it a little bit easier for coaches to get in contact with you. They're not going to fall out of the sky into your lap. You have to go out and look for them. So that's something I really wish that I'd see more of out of a lot more recruits.
Yeah, you can't get them if they're not
exactly.
talking to
and like
you.
I said, at that point they're almost like a ghost. So that they got to make themselves available. And if they do that, there's going to be a much higher chance of them just being recruited in general.
Yeah. Okay. Tell us a little bit about your college experience, your college career.
Yeah, I had a great college career. I always said that if anyone had half as good of a time as I had in college, in the classroom on the golf course, they'd be doing pretty well for themselves. And I really, really enjoyed my time at Findlay. And I was really grateful to, just get the opportunity. Coach Guarneri gave me an opportunity when he first took the job. I was the first recruit that committed to him when he took the job, and we have a pretty good bond built there. And I was just really grateful that he gave me the opportunity to play college golf, because that was really what my goal was. I wanted to play college golf. I didn't care what division it was. Obviously when I was younger, I was shooting for the big Power 5 Division I schools, and I knew that wasn't going to happen.
We all were.
Exactly. And by that point, I was really just happy to get an opportunity at a place that I felt like home. As cliche as that sounds, it really is the honest to God truth. And like I said, I was just really grateful to get the opportunity to do something with it. And it was really a great time. We were able to accomplish some pretty good things towards the end. And for me personally now as the coach here, to kind of see where our program has come from the time I came in as a freshman in 2014, where, our program was kind of down at the bottom of the barrel. And as of right now, we're ranked in the top 25 in the country in Division II, which, that's something that 4 or 5 years ago, if you would have told me that, I would have laughed, because it didn't seem feasible. But it's really meant a lot to kind of see that the process and the progress that we've had as a program over the course of my time here in Findlay.
Being the first recruit gives you a little weight. Looking at your career, you balanced it pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, if you had a great career, you had great experiences here, what would be one thing that you could go back and change, do you think?
Yeah, one thing I would go back and change, and it has nothing to do really with golf or school or anything. It's just kind of socially. My freshman year, I was a little bit nervous, and that's one of the other things. I've come such a long way as a person just from the time I left high school to where I'm at now. Just socially, I was a little bit shy and didn't really branch out a whole lot my freshman year. And I ended up becoming friends with all the kids in my class, my sophomore year. But by that point, I had missed out on a whole year of experiences with them. Listening to their stories that they had, and I had no idea what they were talking about because I didn't branch out. That's kind of the point of college. You're going there to branch out and meet people from different walks of life and just to have new experiences. And I kind of missed out on a year of that my freshman year, just, from no fault of anyone else besides myself. I was just kind of being a little too shy. And thankfully I worked through that and ended up having a great experience the rest of my time here.
And I think that's something a lot of college kids go through. I know whenever I first came in freshman year at orientation, they made sure to say, hey, like, branch out, meet new people, don't be shy to go say hey or play volleyball.
And it's a cliche thing, and you hear that anywhere you go, but it really is the truth. Like I said, that's what you're there to do, is to branch out and meet new people, and that's something that I was a little bit wary of at first, and eventually I kind of bought into it, and feel like I made the most of it after that.
Yeah.
So.
Coach, I know you had a blog going into your senior year of college, and it was about the transformation from high school to college golf and how you could get your name out there as a high schooler at any level of play, really. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So it was called the College Golf Experience, and I started it in the summer going into my senior year of college. And the reason I started it was because I felt that a lot of people were looking through recruiting through the wrong lens. They thought that a lot of coaches were going to come to them, and that's just not the way that it works. And I felt that because of that, the kids were missing out on opportunities to play golf in college. And there's a few instances that I can remember from some people that I knew who they were more than good enough to play golf in college at the Division II level or even the low D1 level, but because they were going through the recruiting process in the wrong way, they ended up missing out on all those opportunities and not even playing golf in college at all.
Yeah.
And I thought that was just kind of sad to see, because these kids had enough talent to play. They just didn't know how to go through the recruiting process.
Yeah,
so
you just gotta get your name out.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of people kind of look at it the wrong way. And so I ended up starting this blog in June of 2017, and it just started out by me kind of putting my thoughts, on paper, or, in my computer, and just made some different blog posts about what I thought, was really important in the recruiting process, the do's and don'ts, and things that coaches, are looking for in the recruiting process.
Yeah.
And it actually kind of blew up almost overnight. I mean, I think 2 or 3 weeks into it, the Twitter page had 300, 400, or 500 followers on it. I was getting DMs and emails, and it was something really cool. I was able to help out some kids. Like I said, they emailed me or DM'd me and had questions, and even my local paper back home in the Cleveland area, the Medina Gazette, picked it up and did a story on it and interviewed me for it. And it was a really cool experience. Just something I was just trying to help people out through my experiences that I had.
Okay. And kind of transitioning off of that, once again, you're a second-year assistant coach, and I feel like that probably gave you a lot of perspective change. Can you tell us on the things you see differently as a coach now instead of a player?
Yeah, it's just about everything.
Yeah.
It's entirely different. And it was tough for me. I mean, I had to grow up really fast, and I had to mature really fast, and I'm a completely different person now than I was 18 months ago when I was still in college. And that's just kind of the nature of the beast with this job, coaching my alma mater, and a lot of the guys that were on the team last year, and even a few of them this year, are some of my best friends. And it's just the way it is. I mean, so we've had to work through that, and it was definitely tough at first, but I think we've done a really good job of working through that. Everybody kind of understands, what page we're on with all that stuff. But perspective-wise, from being a player to a coach, I mean, it really opened up my eyes to the decisions that were made by our coaches. When I played, maybe some of the stuff that I didn't agree with or understand. Seeing it through this perspective, it makes a whole lot more sense. And I almost kind of look back and think about maybe some of the ways I thought about some of that stuff, and kind of almost embarrassed because I didn't really just understand maybe why they made some of those decisions. But really the big thing I learned, and I actually was just talking about this with somebody the other day, is that, coaching is really, 10% of what we do is about golf. The other 90% is about relationships and communication. Whether it's building a new relationship with a recruit, getting to know our players better, having conversations with their parents and getting their feedback, how we interact with other coaches at tournaments, all of that stuff. I mean, that is the epitome of our job, and that is really what we do. I mean, the golf, we only do that a handful of times a year. I mean, we only play 10, 12 tournaments a year, and that's when we're really focused on the golf, and everything else, I mean, is all about communication and building relationships, and that is pretty much what this job is, and that's something that when I was a player I didn't quite fully understand, but that's really opened up my eyes to it now, obviously, having this job.
Yeah. Coach, I mean, you've given us a lot of great information today. I hope that anybody that sees this, I hope it helps you, whether you're an adult or a high school kid coming out of Kentucky, Ohio, wherever you might be from. I hope his tips have helped you. His experiences can shed some light on what your future might hold. And stay tuned for additional content in the next few weeks.